Hello traders, it's Tunapan here, founder of Master the Markets Elite Trades Conference and the Traders Open Day. So today's market update video is going to be on time frame correlation. In fact, it is one of the main reasons on how we actually captured this trade on the Aussie dollar on the long. As you can see, so far we've got two positions on it. One has been closed and banked in for 1,400 euros more or less. And you can see that on the other hand, over here, what I have also is the alive position on the Aussie dollar, which is still carrying on. So overall, we are up about 2731, which half of it is not realized yet. Okay, how are we doing all of this? That's what today's topic is all about. It's on time frame correlation. So if you take a look over here, so let me just tell you what firstly time frame correlation is. Okay, for those of you beginners out there who just want to learn the basics, remember there are links below this video where you can take a look, which is the traderstarterpack.com, and then also you can also for the intermediate traders, you can take a look at the Trade Like a Master video series, which I highly recommend as well. Okay, right, time frame correlation, what is this about? That's today's topic. Now, time frame correlation is basically about looking at different time frames, which is higher time frames, and then correlating them to take a trade. So for example, in the trade that we took on the Aussie dollar, we take a look at the weekly, we took a look at the daily, the 4 hour, and the 1 hour, and we correlate them. Okay, so now let's take a look at that particularly. Okay, so let's take a look at the trade which is currently running, which is about 2,700 up, where we caught this big outburst over there. So what did we actually do? So for example, if you go and take a look at over here, so let me see if I got the weekly here. So you see over here, traders. So what I look at is the weekly trend is first up. But let me caution you, before you correlate the time frames, you must also have a model that is consistent that you're looking at. Because usually people tell me that, hey, Tiru, uptrend means higher highs and higher lows. But if you are to able to quantify that consistently, you must have your tops and bottoms quantified. Okay, you must have your tops and bottoms quantified. Also, then your trend quantification won't be consistent. That's the thing that we have, which is very unique here at Master the Markets, because we were taught these algos by institutional quant traders. So that's the first step. Have your trends consistently quantified. So over here we already have that. We've programmed it. All our clients have it. So you see on the weekly over here, that's an up, isn't it? So weekly is up. Then I move on to the daily. And the daily, it's also telling me that it's up. Then I move on to the 4 hour, right? As of yesterday, the 4 hour without all these bars, right? It was also up as well. Okay, so weekly, daily was up, 4 hour was up as well. Okay, and then finally, then we got the 1 hour, and the 1 hour as of yesterday, okay, around this time here, so about 18 Feb, isn't it? It was on the downside. Okay, it was on the downside. It was around here, so we can't see all of that. All right, so think about this. So we got the three of the time frames are up except for the 1 hour, the smaller time frame being down. Okay, so that's what we had on terms of the Aussie dollar trade that we are running, and is currently up about 2,700 with 1,300 being unrealized and the other 1,300 being realized. Okay, so that is first time frame correlation. So we correlate across all the time frames. Now, why is this important? Why is it important to correlate? Because traders, you see, if on the higher time frames, if it's up, but on the smaller time frames it's down, usually we say that the higher time frames will eventually win, and the 1 hour or the smaller time frames will eventually turn around to correlate with the higher time frames. So what we can then do, we can look at the smaller time frames to look for earlier entries. Okay, so time frame correlation helps you with earlier entries so that we can then design high reward to risk ratio strategies. That's the why we use the time frame correlation. Now, finally, how do you use it? How do you use it? So, I've explained to you what is time frame correlation, why we use it. Now we're going to the how. So, I've given you a small example here where in this Aussie dollar we are looking at. Okay, so I'll just show you now. So, let me just erase all of this on the right hand side, then we can take a look at it a more cleaner way. Then we can take a look at the other charts as well. Okay, good. So let's take a look at this now. So we go on to the weekly, isn't it? So the exact analysis that was done yesterday was that I took a look at the trend on the weekly, which is up, and I also saw that before this got confirmed today, I saw that there were two bars already and another bar which has taken out the high. Okay. The main thing what I'll be looking at is there open equity left in this move? All I knew is that if it were to take out this high, okay, and there's two possibilities here. One is that it can't confirm and it will go further down, as of this bar, the next weeks will come down and take out this low, or it's going to continue, hold this bottom, confirm this bottom, and go further up. So in terms of an open equity basis, first of all, I looked at the weekly and I asked myself, okay, is this overextended? In terms of this move, no, and it looked like there was strong strength. But that's just not enough. So I had to go on to my smaller time frames. Okay, I had to go on to my smaller time frames. Right. So then what I then do is that I looked at the smaller time frames over here. Right. So let's take a look at this. So I went on to the daily. Okay. I went on to the daily. Then I saw there was an outsider bar here, which was signaling to go short. And then I had a green bar over here as well, right? And then I had this pattern, okay? This is what we call a continuation pattern. Now I had this pattern and I know that 94% of the time when this high is taken out, this high also will be taken out. So I know that probability of statistics, which helps me correlate also with the higher time frame. So that's why we took a entry on the high over here. And then finally, then I look at the 4 hour in terms of the momentum wise, still an up, and the 1 hour was on the downside. But that didn't really disconcern me because I know that the smaller time frames can catch up with the higher time frames. So that's how we designed and caught this trade in terms of time frame correlation, which is we look at the weekly on the higher side, and basically two questions we always ask: is it going to continue? Or is it going to reverse and make a new top? I was just teaching that to our elite coaching clients yesterday. In fact, this is the main thing which we keep telling them to look at. Is it going to continue or is it going to reverse and make a new turning point? Is it going to continue holding this bottom and carry on up? Or is it going to come further down and make a new top? So that's all I'm doing. So continuously I'm asking myself which is where the higher probability is. And in terms of this, in a correlation of the time frames in the weekly, in terms of looking at how the weekly was forming was an uptrend and the continuation of open equity to the upside and that bottom being formed, and then looking at this continuation pattern, looking at resilience coming through, correlating that the 4 or 1 hour is how we took that trade, and which we then banked in 1400 on the short exit on this high here, and the other one we are letting it run all the way towards the target of 7918. Okay, it's what is that's a 20%, again based on probabilities of a 20% profit. As you can see over here, that's how we caught this profit over here. Okay, great. So that's good for the topic. So just to recap, we just looked at time frame correlation. We looked at what it is, why we use it, and how we use it as well. What it is, correlating between time frames of trends, why, high reward risk strategies, and how. I just gave you an example based on the Aussie dollar as of now. Okay, okay, good. So I guess that's pretty much on the topic. So now let's do a market analysis now, and let's take a look at all the different instruments that we have. Okay. So on dollar Swiss over here, what we have over here is an uptrend at the moment. We have a top to bottom move. All you have to ask yourself over here is that, is this going to revert and create a new bottom at some point, or is it going to continue in its direction, hold the top and take out this bottom? Okay, so that's what we'll be continuously analyzing. As of now, you may ask, Tiru, where is the probability towards? Is it going to continue upwards or going to continue to the bottom? I can only tell you in terms of the levels it's going to take out. If it comes back to this level again, which is the primary high, I would say more to the upside and confirming of the bottom. However, if it does take out this low and take out then finally this low, then I would say more continuation to the downside. But in terms of a time frame correlation, I'm looking more for the upside move over here on dollar Swiss. Okay, that's what we are looking at. But however, the first sign of reversal, I would say, would be to take out this high first, and then let's see then if it does then revert after that. Okay, the first sign for downside movement is to take out the low of that, but in fact I still wouldn't take a position on that. I will still look for some move like this, and then I will put my entry for the low like that. That's what I'll be looking at. Right, so anyway, that's how I would look at dollar Swiss in terms of open equity. I would say more open equity now, diminished to the downside already, more open equity to the upside. Dollar yen, on the other hand, uptrend as well. Where is the open equity at the moment? I would say it's diminishing to the upside, probably more to the downside, but I'll still be cautious because it's the first interruption. Cable, on the other hand, you can see a strong upward move. In fact, it's gone past this 140 level as of now as we speak as well. Good strength to the sterling. It's good for us, all of us in UK, because we wanted the sterling to increase at some point so as to make our holidays a bit more easier when we go to other countries, is it not, traders? So you can see that over here in terms of the sterling, open equity, I definitely would say is diminishing to the upside. So I would be looking at shorts, but the momentum is quite strong. So do be cautious in any kind of um, positions that you're taking. Okay, euro dollar, on the other hand, downtrend over here is what we are having, and but we're seeing some strength to the upside. So what I will be more cautious of is if it does resume its momentum, the open equity is where open equity is, I would say, diminishing to the upside, more towards the downside. But however, traders, if it does take out this high, I would say more open equity to the upside. Okay, that's what we'll be looking at. Aussie dollar, I've already looked at it. Open equity is diminishing to the upside, but with the strong momentum, I would be cautious in taking shots, but look for right technical levels. GBP yen, on the other hand, definitely open equity diminishing to the upside, so we'll be taking more look to the downside. Bitcoin, still ferocious and strong, 52,000 at the moment. From its last 10,000, it's shot up to 52,000 in less than 7 months. I mean, where will you see that kind of returns of 500% return? Oh my God, right? It's really on a turbo charge booster. Open equity definitely diminishing to the upside, but as long as the momentum keeps, hold on to it. Brent oil, on the other hand, open equity diminishing to the upside. I will look for shorts when it takes out this low over here. Okay, right. Gold, on the other hand, as you can see, is more to the downside. Open equity is diminishing to the downside, but the momentum is quite strong, so I'll be cautious. I wouldn't take any longs until we see good patterns coming up towards the long side. First level to take out is probably 1780 as of now, if that's the high and the high maintains. FTSE, downtrend 6589 at the moment. It's taken out that last low. There's a price structural failure. So I would look at more open equity to the downside first, as it has taken out this low. Second, for this low to be taken out. But however, if it takes out the high, then momentum is coming to the upside. Dow Jones, on the other hand, 31,519, very slow upward move. It is consolidating a lot, as you can see. But however, I would say that if it does take out that low, more open equity to the downside. Open equity is diminishing to the upside. I mean, S&P is similar. Open equity diminishing to the upside, so if it does take out the low to the downside. Silver, on the other hand, you can see it's remaining steady at about $27 uptrend. Open equity, I would say, is diminishing to the upside. So if it does take out this low to the downside, but then if it does take out this high to begin with, then to the upside. Okay. Right, and then finally wheat. That's a bit of a downtrend at the moment, price structural failure, and I would say more open equity, really to the downside still. But if it does take out this high, then more open equity to the upside. All right. Okay, traders. I guess that's so much for the market update as of now. Now, in terms of the our trade performance for this week so far. Okay, let's take a look at that. Now, in terms of the elite room, as you can see, so let me just bring that up for a moment. So you can see all the results over here that we've populated. In terms of the elite room, primary runners 70% OE, that's being flat. Cash in 4.0, 20% and 70%, 0.84 and 0.50%. Continuation patterns took a bit of a hit at minus 2%. Overall, elite room is down about minus 0.66, very small drawdown. Now, in terms of the live trading room, the money bars did take a hit, minus 0.30, primary runners at minus 1.57, lift off 20% and 70%, a little bit more drawdown at 0.03 and minus 1.03%. All this is all saying that the trends are not quite strong yet. But in terms of the cash in 4.0, where we take all the positions, there's a nice strong 3.97%, mainly contributed from euro yen and dollar yen. One day exit, a small profit of 0.36%. Total 1.4% on the live trading room. Now, in terms of total across both trading rooms, what we have at the moment is elite room minus 0.66, live trading room 1.40, small profit of 0.74% this week. Okay, great. I guess that's pretty much that from me as of this session, traders. And as we always say, till the next time, stay disciplined, follow your trading plan, and keep trading like a master.